As I sit relaxed, I am aware of my body, my vehicle. Now, I visualize my real self, the soul, the spirit, the being, the Atma, a sparkling point of light inside the center of the forehead. I, the soul, is infinitesimal living energy that gives life to the body. I am the driver of this vehicle, my body. The physical eyes are my windows. Being a responsible driver, I nourish my body with healthy food, to exercise, get enough sleep, among others. I, the living being of light, radiates with vibrations of peace, love, truth, happiness, purity. I take these qualities from the Supreme Soul, the Supreme Being, God the Father. The soul world is where I, the being of light, came from, and it is where I am going home. It is a place filled with golden red light. It is where I meet God the Father. It is just a thought and a second away. Being eternal, I can change vehicle several times. I carry with me the memories and experiences that comprises my personality traits. From this, my mind creates thoughts and feelings which my intellect based its decisions. The decisions I create leads to memories and experiences, and the cycle goes on. I, the soul, the eternal point of light, is the driver of this body and is responsible for my journey towards my destiny. Om Shanti.
Thank you very much for that very meaningful meditation commentary which we just had. So I'm happy to be with everyone this afternoon. It's our last Saturday conversation here at Inner Space. And I would like to welcome everyone, especially those who are in Facebook right now, in Zoom, as well as in face-to-face. Maayong hapon sa atong tanan. Good afternoon. A very warm afternoon to everyone. If you would remember, this November, we started with a conversation which was titled A Soul's Journey, and we had Miss Cora Alforque Hartzog as our guest. Today, we are going to have a sequel of A Soul's Journey, but this is not going to be just a soul's journey, but we have souls on a journey who will be sharing with us this very special Saturday their experience as well as their very own journey at this point of time. So, before we start with our guest, whom we have right now, just there in Barili, a very lovely couple. We have Inday of Sugar Cafe, and we also have Duncan here, our good friend in Barili, who is now a resident of the Philippines. Good afternoon. And we also would like to welcome the rest who are there right now listening, viewing us. So as we start, I would like to welcome also my very good soul friend here, Tensi, who would give us a little definition of what is soul journey.
What is a soul journey? As we journey through life, many of us seek to find purpose and meaning beyond the material realm. This is where the concept of a soul journey comes into play. A soul journey is a path of personal and spiritual growth that allows us to connect with our inner selves, explore our passions, and align ourselves with our higher purpose. It is a journey towards fulfilling our destiny and realizing our unique potential. The idea of a soul journey can be traced back to ancient spiritual traditions, and in modern times, it has gained popularity as more and more people seek to find deeper meaning and fulfillment in their lives.
Isn't that a very good start for us to really look into our own journey in our life?
Let's welcome Duncan.
Duncan and Inday, can we both of you now, as we will be sharing our individual journeys in our life? Okay. Now we can hear you.
So, did you have a particular question
Yes.
regarding?
What I would wish
I
to
will just-
recap here is the soul journey is a path of personal and spiritual growth that allows us to connect with our inner selves. And I remember Duncan saying earlier that he would like to connect this with his youth, with an earlier life he had down in Sydney. Duncan?
Yes. Well, the idea of an arc of a life. You, when you get older, you have the perspective of all the years that have led you up to the present moment, and so I'm quite happy with where I am these days, as I've journeyed through many different experiences and traveled along life's path with various other souls, and of course that all feeds into one's experience. But when one is young, you have aspirations, you have a sense of where you want to go in your life, and when you're older and getting into your getting into the later years, you realize that maybe life's taken you on an alternative path or alternative paths that maybe you had no idea would be part of your journey. And that all feeds into one's sense of self and connection with the world. I think I was reminded of the quote by Nietzsche about having an identity crisis, and then some of us have an identity crisis and we come out of it in a good way with a positive sense of self. And then there are other people that never suffer an identity crisis. Their life the path seems fairly clear, or at least they don't question.
I would,
So
I wish to just ask, who among us did not have any identity crisis? Because I, for one, I had my own identity crisis. Are there people who will not have that? Like, what is the
Yeah, there are.
identity?
No, there are people
Yes.
in the world who will not
They must be very
make,
lucky.
even though they may experience some suffering, they might not necessarily experience it as a questioning of who am I, or and what am I about, or what am I to do. There are those souls that blissfully go through life accepting what life has to offer.
You're talking
Then there are
about
many
me.
others who are who question.
You're talking about me, Duncan. See, right now, I really think I just floated through life. And right now, I know that I enjoyed every step of the way.
Okay.
And of course, I had problems, like I didn't know how to solve my math. And I was worried because we were going to another city and my father was waiting at the end of the boat ride. But as I look back, it seems like I was just there and I embraced everything that was there. So shouldn't I feel guilty that I didn't have the common human experience? But really, when problems were there, like, my math and my, big things like my entire family was migrating and I just thought I shouldn't go with them because I enjoy life in the Philippines. And instead of going with them to the States, I swerved to the left and went another way. But right now that everyone is abroad, people ask me, aren't you lonely for your family? I'm not, because I'm in contact with them every time. And every time we speak and every time they visit and we go out together, everything is fun. It's enjoyable. And of course, there are problems, but I learned to take them as part of the journey, part of life.
Your maturity, I guess, was really high. That's why you were able to accept those things. Because adolescent for me was a critical period. And it was when I was asking myself, who am I? And I was really looking at doing things, achieving things then, until when I was also I had the workplace. What mattered for me was I would hit my target. I would hit what is expected of me, until after which I got bored and I felt I wasn't really doing well. So that was part of an identity crisis I had until after I learned that, these are not the achievements that I really need in my life, because I felt empty. I felt empty despite the fact that I was able to be successful in the workplace as well as in the family. Everything was there, but I felt there was something just missing. So I think that was a journey of my soul that could be different from yours, my dear, and you're lucky. But I guess right now I am most lucky. I'm most lucky because I have found what would really make me happy and what it is that would get me contented in my life. We'll ask Inday. Inday, can we get your own experience of life
My
right now?
journey.
Your soul's journey?
Yeah, my journey when I was young, I'm going to Manila and work. I think it was really difficult for me to leave of my siblings and my parents, but I need to do that because they need my help.
You had an opportunity.
Yeah, and I have also opportunity to go there. So I think I work like, and when I was working, I'm not thinking about problems or just to help my parents, and that's my happiness. And until now, when I come back here, my problem is like how I can support them. And I'm not worried about them because they are old, but
Old and happy,
old and happy, and they are contented
reasonably
where
healthy.
where they live. So I have to look after them every day, going up and down.
But no
And
burdens, I guess, because I can see your happy face there.
Yes.
Up and
Some
down the
people-
hill.
up and down the hills, like, but sometimes I'm worried about us. But well, if I'm think about Baba saying that, well, live up to me, so I live to Baba. That's what Dongkan saying, like, we're not gonna get worried about anything. Just whatever we have to be contented. So I learned that.
Who is Baba, if I may ask, Inday?
Let go and let
Well,
God.
Baba is the supreme. Is that the supreme master?
Supreme Soul.
Soul.
God.
God. He's a God.
Father of humanity.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's what I
So that's
learned.
the faith that you have right now.
Yeah,
the
that's
faith
what
that
I
you have
learned from.
in the Supreme Father.
Yeah,
Yes,
the
thank you
Supreme
for
Father.
that. Thank you for
Yeah,
that.
that's why I learned that.
That's why you're happy.
And
And then
Inday,
all my wild garden here, I have to say thank you, Baba, for this wild garden that we have now.
but Inday, I really see in you a very noble soul.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, and that you accept it makes you all the more
Yes.
noble.
Well, here in the province, it's like I think the people here are more contented. Even during the Odette, what happened to Odette? We don't have any roof, or some of our cousin, no roof.
No houses.
No houses. When we see it,
Houses.
no one's crying, just laughing. Like we're just hiding under the table, but they're laughing.
Because they were safe.
No,
They were
no.
unhurt.
No one's crying. It's like we're under the table. Like last night, even the kids, like, yeah, I think Filipino is like happy-go-lucky,
No,
and they have a good soul. Yeah, the good soul is there.
you see, Inday, happy-go-lucky, that's a foreign
Yeah,
expression.
happy-go-lucky.
You are happy and you are lucky.
Yeah.
No? Happy
Yes, I
and
am
lucky.
lucky.
And lucky.
Yes. And that
Even
for
not.
me, That's your journey.
Yeah, we are
And
happy.
you're happy
Yes,
about
I
it.
think that,
We have to remind ourselves all the time,
yeah, remind us.
you know, to be honest.
Mhm.
Yeah, because sometimes we are up and down, but
All of us
You
are.
know, because
every
of
time we
the
remember, every time we remember this, like, well, we're okay here.
it's when things take a long time to develop that
Yeah,
that the challenge of staying fresh with it.
and Duncan always taught me, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't look at it. Don't look at. Just look at your surrounding.
Don't worry about it because worrying won't get you anywhere except more worry.
Yeah. Well, thank you for including me.
You're part of us. You're one of us. But then listening to you and Miss Ellen here and Duncan too, somehow I have begun to tell myself just now, I think I should really look back and see how I reacted to all the events in my life. Because
Come on, come on.
uh,
Don't don't include
I
yourself. Come on.
I really think I floated through, and the problems that came along, well, I just coped. And until now, I'm still the same. People ask me to do things, I just do them. I enjoy doing the little tasks that come my way. I get invitations to attend this seminar or give this lecture. I just move along. And that makes my life. That's life for me.
What a beautiful journey.
Oh, thank you. I hope to appreciate it the way we should. But all the time,
We-
I
We're
know,
all searching for a sense of fulfillment.
Yeah, I think the soul is always bringing like that.
and I do know that I'm very fortunate because I meet, I met and I meet the right kind of people. Of course, so there were a few villains along the way, but I told myself, okay, be the villain that you want to be, because when I act my role as villain, you might not appreciate your villainhood at all.
What you're saying right now is you're able to act out things like you're an actor in a play and you choose your what you really wish
Yes.
accordingly,
Yes.
and it does not give any how do you call this negative result on your part because it's a decision that you make.
Yes. And I say, oh, if this is the situation, let it be.
Yeah.
Let it be. But for me to immerse myself into something that will not lead me to, to the fulfillment of what I am supposed to do at the moment, I will not bother.
Yeah. I wish Duncan can also share with us about his friend who left with all his
At a young age,
yes, the young man. Can you recap that once again for our viewers also
well, my
and listeners to hear?
my background in Australia was one of I started out pretty early in life asking questions about what's the best way to live, and you know I joined with an artist community in the early 80s in Sydney, and it was a really good time. It was an interesting time. I met all kinds of wonderful creative people. There was a good many of them too who were suffering deep internally, you could say. So there were some that ended up, taking their own lives. And one in particular was a very good friend of mine who was a great writer. He was quite intellectually advanced, more than me at that time. But internally, he was quite fragile, and you know, he chose to take his life in a very ceremonial way, and it was quite a shock to us because he was an incredibly vibrant and dynamic individual, and like I said, he was incredibly intelligent and a very creative writer. So he had aspirations to be a poet and a writer and be published. But at the age of 22, he checked out, and it was a series of events. He'd had an accident, had a fall, and he'd had some cerebral damage, and that sort of put him a little bit at odds with living. He'd lost his sense of taste and smell, and being such a dynamic and so into life person, you know, after 6 months, I said to him, "How are you going?" And he said, "You can't understand." He said, "All the enjoyment of eating is completely gone from me. There's only texture. I can't smell it. I can't taste it. It's just a chore." So I started to get an insight into how life had become really unbearable for him at a certain point. So, you know, experiences like that, dear friends like that, leaving a kind of legacy, you know, of course, makes you question, you know, your own place in the scheme of things. I was very close to his family, his siblings, and his mother at the time, and back in those days, that was the early 80s. There was an emphasis just beginning on mental health. So, you know, the parents sort of blamed themselves that they didn't really understand his mental health. But I think that was probably a little bit two-dimensional. It wasn't that they didn't not appreciate his gifted nature. It was just that at the time there was this stigma of people who suicided, you know, that the inability to come to terms with the emotional strain and stress that people experience. So, you know, they wanted to frame his death in a kind of, oh, well, mental health, and this is why we need to be aware of it. And I'm only saying that because I think that sometimes you just have to let people run their course. And it's not as though anybody could have saved him, quote unquote. Certainly none of his close friends around him had that sort of impact. But questions about soul and spirit and life after death all come into the picture when you're faced with, at an early age, when you're faced with people leaving the scene. So especially in such a tragic way. And yeah, but at the end of, you know, getting to the senior years of my life, I look back and I'm at peace with so much of what I did and who I met and spent time with, because I feel that there's a bigger story beyond this particular experience of Duncan, born in Melbourne, growing up, now living in the Philippines. I think there's something that that we can all tap into, that is constant, that doesn't change.
Mhm.
And it is a part of us, if only we are to connect with it. And I think that's the soul thing. That's what the soul meditation is about. It's about
Its journey.
getting to that stillness and being okay with everything that has happened, is happening, and is going to happen. I think we steer our lives in a much better way when we take 5 or 10 minutes out of every day to just go into that personal, private, dare I say it, eternal space.
How deep.
Yeah. Actually, in my case, my journey to understand life came when I took up Raj Yoga, and it was where my questions were answered. And I would say my priorities also changed. That was the time when I said to myself, everything that I have gained would be nothing because I have not really understood what life is. I did not understand who I really am as a spiritual being. I just thought that it was the body that I had to take care of, and I had to acquire this much in terms of titles and in terms of possessions. But later, when I was introduced to meditation, Raj Yoga meditation in particular, it really changed my whole understanding of life. And this is also what I wish to celebrate with with our viewers right now. Once we learn how to, like you were saying earlier, to accept things as they are, to be able to have gratitude, like what Inday has emphasized earlier, and be able to see things at, not romanticizing, but rather just being simple in recognizing the blessings that we have. I think this is really much treasure. So that is also what I had learned in this journey of my life. Although from time to time, I will still get, some types of, how would I call it, fluctuation, but relapse. But in the end, I would decide from hibernating, I would like to go back to who I really am. I am a happy soul. I'm a peaceful soul.
I suppose all the time I knew I was a happy soul. And it is now actually when I came to inner space, that was when I learned to put a name into what I was pursuing. That I was able to label, my experiences. And I realized I was taking a journey, but I wasn't aware of the journey at all. But when I met inner space, I said, oh, this is the journey. And as one Christmas carol says, I was laughing all the way. I have been laughing all the way, and I think I still am.
Wonderful. Congratulations. Laughing all the way. So that means all is calm to you and,
And
all is bright. That will be our theme for December.
Very good. Yeah, that that thing about coming to an understanding that you are on a journey. To put it in that phrase. That's where that's where one becomes aware of okay, what is my identity really? And so having a soul identity is so much more rewarding, and I've been contemplating it a lot lately. It's we have an inner world. All of us has an inner world, and there's been so little emphasis placed on exploring and understanding that everything about living a life is also externalized. You know, the culture that we're born into and the religion that is embodied in that culture and all the, you know, just about everything, but very little about what's going on in here. And I think that's why, I'm sure as a young person, that's why I was attracted to art, because it's a way of exploring the inner world.
This afternoon, but let this not be the end of it, because there's so much more of the journey that we have to take.
We
And
have not, we're not done with our journey.
no,
We continue to journey, and we hope our viewers will be journeying with us.
they actually are our companions in the journey.
I stand corrected by that. Our companions in the journey. We're all traveling
Mhm.
because this is not really our home.
Yes, and you know, Rudyard Kipling in one of his poems says, they say that life is a highway and its milestones are the years.
Its milestones are
Are
the
the
years.
years. And it's up to us to put meaning into our years. And the more we see it as a journey that we have to be aware of and to actualize, oh, that gives it much, much meaning.
That's very true. And you know, my take right now with this conversation that we had is take things as they are, accept them with a lot of smile, a lot of humility, and gratefulness.
Yes.
Gratefulness.
And there's Inday and Duncan out there in Bareilly enjoying their fun. And you now are under the, you know, you're really under the moon, the half moon that you spoke about earlier.
We're close to the elements out here, and it's lovely. The Philippine weather, the Cebuano weather. So the fog happens when the low pressure systems come in. We'll show you the mountains just briefly.
Okay.
So thank you very much.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Beautiful view you have there.
So it's time for us to wind up. Thank you very much once again for this wonderful Saturday conversation that we had.
It's a lovely
Dancing.
experience, Miss Ellen.
And we're soon ending our 2023 journey, but looking forward to a bright 2024.
Yes. And a happy one.
Yes, certainly, because we choose to be happy.
Choose to be happy.
Despite
and fulfilled.
what is happening around us. We cannot do so much in terms of, you know, directly making the change, but we can do the change in our own perimeter,
Yes.
in our own selves that would start with us.
That's right.
So the journey starts with me and you and with all the rest of
And all
us
of us.
coming together in love, in peace, in harmony, in gratefulness,
Yes.
and in acceptance.
So,
Thank you very much.
Duncan and Inday, thank you for being with us this afternoon.
Bye.
Thank you so much, everyone. Yeah, thanks. Ruth.
Bye.
No, don't say goodbye because we still have another meditation that will wind everything for all of us this Saturday.
That'll be
So,
lovely.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Once again, I put everything I am doing on hold. It's time. Time to take a break, to recharge myself. So I begin to slowly inhale and exhale to quiet the body and retreat in a comfortable private room in my mind. Here, my thoughts travel to a favorite spot by the ocean. It's just before sunrise, and the morning star is still visible in the paling dark sky. I inhale as I watch the placid ocean. The waves likewise gently roll backwards, leaving a smooth beach front in my mind. I relax. I exhale a sigh of relief, and again the waves follow and ripple back in front of me, bringing treasures from the sea. I pick up a shiny piece of broken glass. A reflective mood washes over me as I marvel at the wonder of it all. Everything my senses pick up is perceived and experienced by me, inside me, in my mind. I am the thinker. I choose my thoughts, and I'm the one who experiences all the emotions and feelings that follow. So, I'm the one responsible and meant to be in control. I have powerful abilities. I even say my body and command it like a possession. So this body is separate from me, like a driver is separate from his car. That's why they say body and soul. Now I see. I'm the sole driver of this body car. Without me inside the body, it perishes. So it's me, the soul, that's the living being. I am the powerful, life-giving energy. Yet I can't see me, but I'm sure I can be aware of me and realize the wonder of me as I do now. Yet I wonder how it is just to be a soul. I remember that the soul is a tiny spiritual point of light, like the morning star up above me. Let me imagine myself inside this tiny star. In my mind, I fly, and once inside, I feel a dynamic, pulsating light energy of such purity and goodness all around me, flowing outwards like waves coming from a very quiet, still point where I am. So pure, so innocent, so true. This is the real me. And from here, spontaneously, my other qualities radiate. Waves of unbroken peace, unlimited power, unconditional love. There is a feeling of sheer joy, of bliss, binding all of these qualities together as one. At that moment, time stands still, caught in the full experience of me, the soul, a reflection of my spiritual parent, God, the Supreme Being. Wow, how high my origin. Speechless and so full. I'm now ready to go back and put together, like this broken glass, I hope, all the unresolved broken pieces of my life, secure and confident of success. Because now I know who I am. Om Shanti.
So fly, fly so high, so shine, shine your light, realize who you are and fly, fly, realize who you are and fly, fly higher than the sky, fly, fly on wings so high to your lover's eyes. So fly, fly so high, so shine all of your life, realize who you are and fly, fly, realize who you are and fly, fly higher than the sky, fly, fly on wings so high to your lover's eyes.